for commerce and reduce costs faced by the traders, especially small-scale and women traders, at the targeted locations in the borderlands.
Apparently the outcome would be to reduce poverty, to increase export earnings, value addition of our products, so that we don't suffer markets, don't suffer the same fate like we had suffered with our neighbors, the maize, but that one has been sorted. Employment, but also
the Democratic Republic of Congo has in the recent years risen to become one of the biggest regional and international trade partners of Uganda, with exports to the country surpassing $580 million in 2020.
That means that it's now going to be one of our biggest trade destinations. And the fact that Ministry of Works has a project of working on the infrastructure in DRC justifies that.
With improved infrastructure and streamlined border clearance processes, the trade volumes are expected to increase exponentially.
But particularly speaking on the small-scale traders, most of our people who are exporting goods to DRC, exports don't attract any tax except a few, and that is and fish.
As the market and border post construction works officially commence, the contractor was cautioned against poor work ethic and unnecessary delays.
I wish to urge the contractor and the consultant and technical team from both ministries to ensure that the construction is done to the desired quality within the expected time frame.
Residents at the border town have hailed the project and expressed optimism of an organized and better working environment, which will translate into increased earnings.
The
new market will help me a lot. We have been carrying our merchandise from the market every evening, but with the new stores, that will be history. We are also assured of safety. I can see the new developments, and that is the way to go if our border and the country is to prosper.
Facilitating trade in both goods and services requires a holistic approach, targeted investments in infrastructure, policy reforms, and capacity building.
Uganda maize dealers continue to tabulate losses incurred ever since Kenya imposed economic sanctions on maize and dairy products or exports products from Uganda, citing low quality standards, coupled with aflatoxins, which the Kenyan Quality Assurance Body says are detrimental to the health of their nationals. However, experts are describing reasons advanced by Kenya as being far-fetched from the truth. The mix surrounding the trade war seems to be political, with selfish trade interests by key players on either sides in the curtailed lucrative trade. In this report, let's have a look at the misfortunes Ugandan traders are reaping out of the trade export sanctions the Kenyan government has imposed on Uganda's trade exports. Watch.
It is nearly a week since the Kenyan government imposed a temporary ban on export of Ugandan maize produce to its market on assumption that it contains aflatoxins. Since then, Ugandan maize dealers have been crying foul.
Indeed, there wasn't any formal communication to us. Just we are told within 24 hours that Kenyan government is no longer in need of Ugandan maize due to the fact that it's full of aflatoxin. We are facing a lot of challenges, my dear, because you cannot purchase maize at 650 and you sell it at 580.
Emmotoka gye ziri ebusiya twasindika kasooli waffe n'emmotoka ziri busiya bazigaanidde ku nsalo n'ennyini gwe twagula ntuleka ku masitoowa naye gyali ali eyo ku masitoowa.
By the time of our visit to this maize milling plant and store located in Kawempe, 2 of the maize transport lorries that were bounced back by the Kenyan authorities were being flooded. Hayat Naguja Sarafina and Senyo Hamidi are seasoned maize dealers who have been hit hard by this latest decision by the Nairobi government.
Because they have been consuming it for a while, for very many years along. So you cannot wake up one morning and you say that you don't bring Ugandan maize. It's full of aflatoxin, and you make people lose a lot of money.
Kasooli simanyi oba amukeberera bannakenya kuba baatuwabwa essaawa 24 nga twerazizzeeyo ewaabwe nga baggaddewo kati ne bw'ogendera emmotoka ziri wali zonna ziri awo sente z'abantu ziri mu kufa bufi okiwulidde kati wano ffe Uganda tetukyalina otutunda kintu.
With the closures of borders of countries like Rwanda and Burundi and insecurity in South Sudan and DR Congo, the local schools market would have been another market option for maize dealers. But COVID-19 lockdown also hit them below the belt.
If the schools were operating, at least people could have survived. But the close of schools is affecting a lot. Now schools are closed, borders are closed. Uganda will have nowhere to run.
Tetwajja tufuna n'ekizibu amasomero ne bagawummuza. Amasomero gaaligezezaako okulya kasooli naye n'amasomero abaana baliwaka. Tiwaliwo tuddukira.
Renowned city lawyer Fred Mwema believes it is now time for East African community integration and federation protocols to take center stage.
So on the side of trade, I feel that the matter must be resolved under the trade pact that these countries have. And you need to know that this is not the first trade dispute between countries. Countries are always fighting and quarreling over why you're not taking this and protectionism and tariffs.
By and large, the fact remains that the Ugandan market has for years registered an influx of either counterfeit or toxic products. Hence, the Kenyan embargo can substitute as an eye-opener. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
In more news, police have arrested 2 male adults for allegedly impersonating a state house staff, thereby conning and suspecting members of the public of their money while promising to get them to meet the president of Uganda. Kampala Metropolitan Police Deputy Spokesperson Luko Esijid identifies the suspects as Kyomugisha Lawrence and Rabahanji Ronald, revealing that they were netted following a tip-off from one of their victims.
Following the press briefing on the impersonators that we had last week on issues that were surrounding a group of people that were going around talking to chief executives in many organizations and many managing directors on investigations that were ongoing into their companies surrounding and issues to do with corruption. The police and State House Anti-Corruption Unit has embarked on doing operations that, of course, are leading to the arrest of some of these people. And yesterday we were able to arrest one, Kyomugisha Lawrence, and Rabahanji Ronald, who was purportedly trying to extort money from one lady. And we got to know that these people were alleging that they can refer this lady to State House to meet the President of His Excellence Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, so that her problems can be solved there and then. It's from this that, of course, she reached out to us and we were able to mount an operation that led to their arrest. Of course, we are calling upon the public not to heed to the demands of these people. At the end of the day, they will ask money from you, of course, which is illegal, and they will not do anything about it. If you want to see the president, you can always go through the normal procedures, and of course, whenever there is an appointment, you can always meet the president, not to give in money so that you can always meet the president. So investigations are ongoing. We got to know that they were asking for 3 million shillings. We are here to know whether she had given them any money, and it's from there that, of course, we had to swing into action. They are currently, of course, recording their statements, and we are hopeful that on Monday they will be arraigned before courts of law on issues to do with impersonation and demanding money with the ministry. We do know that these acts are on the rise in the country, but a few people will always come forward to give us details concerning the whole activity. And of course, whenever we get details concerning this whole activity, we always spring into action, arrest the culprits, and take them to courts of law. But we have found out that many of the people that are victims cannot come out because probably they have issues that are going on that are not going on well in their companies, and they fear to come out and mention such things in the face of the public. But of course, they also know that also giving bribes to anyone is criminal in nature. So they will always find it hard to report themselves that they've participated in criminal activities like giving bribes.
Now, for anyone or anything that is suspicious, don't forget to always go and get help from police closest to you. Moving on from that story, Kawempe Referral Hospital has received a donation of hospital equipment worth 144 million. This is due to reducing the high number of maternal and child deaths that the hospital records. According to the annual health sector performance report, 2019 and 2020, Kawempe Referral Hospital records the highest number of maternal deaths out of all the country's hospitals. Watch.
The management of Mukono General Hospital has revealed that ever since the hospital was elevated in 2020, there has been a tremendous increase in the number of mothers attending antenatal visits from 600 to 750 per month, but the infrastructure is not enough.
We have been overwhelmed with the number of clients. For instance, before we became a hospital, we had about 600 deliveries a month. We have now surpassed that. We are in 750 deliveries. The number of antenatal cases have also increased tremendously.
The hospital management also needs recruitment of more specialists to handle the different cases patients present with.
Since our elevation, we have now become a referral center for many facilities, both private, non-for-profit, private, fully private, and then those ones of public. The health center 3s and 4s down the hierarchy.
The university also donated to Church of Uganda Hospital, and the equipment was received by the Bishop of Mukono Diocese, Right Reverend James William Sevagala.
Being a private institution, it means that the charges for treatment have to be extra high. But now when we receive such donations, they actually help us to minimize the cost. When people come for surgery or anything that is related with the theater, it means that we are not going to actually overcharge them.
The Vice Chancellor Uganda Christian University, Dr. Mushengerezi, says hospitals normally take on their medical students for clinical training.
As you know, we started the medical school and the School of Dentistry about 4 years ago. 4 years. So our first students, first intake, have now reached their clinical year, which is 3rd year. Our medical school is in Mengo Hospital, but we have a number of church-founded hospitals that we have identified as our partners in clinical training of our medical and dentistry students. And Church of Uganda Hospital in Mukono is one of them. So this donation of medical equipment and supplies is also to support them as they prepare to receive our students who are on clerkship.
Bishop Sevagala pointed out the challenge of expensive hospital equipment. Patients. Adiana Kute, UBC.
Thank you so much, Adiana Kuti. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with more news.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
simu. Kwata simu! For the first time in Uganda, you can pay in installments and own a smartphone instantly. Get to own the Samsung A3 Core, Samsung A01 or Samsung A11 and pay back in either daily, weekly or monthly installments for a period of a year. To check if you're eligible for the offer, dial *284*49# today. You also enjoy free 500 MB on the purchased phone every month for the entire loan repayment period. Ha! Uganda nyuma! Airtel, the smartphone network, in proud partnership with MasterCard, Samsung, and Asante Financial Services.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
You're still watching UBC Lunchtime News. Now, university and other tertiary institution students have been advised to participate in mindset change activities aimed at enhancing behavioral change for transformation into better leaders and workers. The Commissioner Patriotism Office of the President, Brigadier General Patrick Mwesija, said this while presiding over the Inter-University Mindset Change Ideological Symposium organized at Bishop Stewart University in Kakoba, Mbara. Among other universities that participated were Mbara University of Science and Technology, Kampala International University, Ankole Western University, Makerere University Business School, MOBS Mbara as well.
We need to look where we are, the opportunities. They will tell you, the man who makes McDonald's he failed in many things, including the army. But at 73, no 65 years, he saw people would go to work, but they had no time to go and eat. So he began making chicken and chips and taking it to offices. So that's how McDonald's became now the order of the day today, which you young people enjoy, or the cave. What is this? Cave opportunities around us. We just need to see them.
Mindset transformation is so important to an individual because it helps them change their behavior, change their character, and sets them in motion to transform their lives, transform the lives of other people and Uganda. Only when minds are transformed can they make better leaders, better workers, and people who are poised to to face challenges, everyday challenges, and set the nation on a development path. So this symposium to me was very good, and it has achieved its aims. Our children sat and listened attentively. They asked questions, and I'm very sure they have not remained the way they are.
Have the right mindset to know that the future of Africa depends on them, and nobody else owes us a living. So whereas people want to go to Europe where they see life is easy, those people went through what we are going through now. So we must be here to build our future where you, the younger people, and the people you produce will enjoy. It comes from effort, from sweat. 3, I believe that for you to become rich, if you're a public servant, you must think outside the box. That you must utilize the time for work properly, and then the time off work, you try to plan for yourself. The difference we make here is that people who come from offices or from schools who are teachers, instead of going to plan for work, they go to the bars. And so as a result, you find that the 16 hours left, because this public servant here works from 8 to 5 p.m.
Work and study as you earn. That is the concept we are bringing forward. And lastly, we want everyone to have something they are doing. Everybody should have an innovation. And you can start small, you will grow if you make it your business. And if you really mind about what you are doing. And most especially, a university graduate who has gotten universal knowledge, they should use this knowledge, study to understand, and go and apply the knowledge. Even if it is in any other area, you can make it, you can succeed. You are most welcome to BSU. I want to declare that this patriotism ideological symposium, which is about mindset change in inter-universities, but basically being hosted by BSU, officially opened.
Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Now that the Vice Chancellor has...
Now in more news, aside from that, Ministry of Health has launched the post-maternal intervention, a framework to accelerate reduction of maternal mortality due to postpartum hemorrhage. Postpartum hemorrhage is the leading cause of maternal mortality rate. During the launch, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, noted that all hospital referrals for mothers have been done by nurses, castigating doctors for having left this crucial service to lower-ranked medical officers. Details in this report from Helen.
Members, take time, sit with the young people and just take them, because what we have noted also, that we have left the work to very junior people, because the senior people are not there to guide. When we go to Kawempe every Monday, we have been talking about this, and we use the information we get there. We go to the regional referrals and we talk about all this, and they make presentation, and we analyze their data and their referral. We find all the referrals in the country they are written by nurses. And you look at those referrals and you just feel like dying and just hiding under this table. As they are getting nearer, you will start discussing the issue of referral if you do not have the capacity to handle. If the mother is hypertensive or preeclamptic, you cannot handle. But what pathway have we created for quick intervention? Because it is the quick intervention that really has helped, I think, had challenges. I am excited to know that really our reviews have improved, and I want to thank the teams that have made this happen. Thank you very much.
We gather here at the Hotel Africana to disseminate the results about maternal perinatal death surveillance review, and the theme is reduction of maternal and perinatal deaths, my role. So my role as a regional manager of blood transfusion service is to ensure that, one, we have availability of blood at the regional blood bank. This blood is issued to the transfusing health facilities, and I make sure that the transfusing facilities also prescribe rationally. I talk about three things. One is about the mobilization. Are blood donors willing to donate? I would say yes and no. Yes.
Finance Trust Bank, in partnership with Starbucks International, has unveiled a clean energy facility to provide loans for women entrepreneurs in the country. The initiative is geared at not only promoting the use of clean energy, but also enhancing the penetration of liquid gas cylinders towards the assurance of cooking from healthy environments. Details in this report.
The partnership is essential in improving livelihoods and protecting the environment. Women will be able to apply for a loan from any finance trust bank across the country in order to acquire a Starbucks liquid petroleum gas cylinder.
This initiative is aimed at bringing convenience to the women, especially those that are into business. And as a bank, our role is to be able to provide them financing, to be able to access the service. But as part of our Women Day activities, this initiative is inclined to bringing the woman in the spotlight and trying to address the challenges that a woman experiences in day-to-day life.
The loans are hinged on the current selling price of the gas cylinders with no interest charged. The energy facility not only makes the cylinders more affordable to the women, but also encourages women of all walks of life to embrace a savings culture.
And also the women groups, these women groups have an opportunity to become Starbucks agents, in that they can do business with Starbucks and they can run the cages, and their groups can manage the cages and benefit from the profit that comes out of that. So in that way, we are having a win-win situation for both Starbucks and the clients of Starbucks, and then also the agents of Finance Trust Bank.
This initiative is seen as a milestone in curbing environmental destruction caused by the use of unclean energy sources used from cooking, such as charcoal and firewood. Charlotte Amuge and Robin Yoso for UBC News.
Well, thank you so much for watching the UBC Lunchtimes edition. My name is Sharon. Have a lovely afternoon and stay tuned for more programming coming your way.